What makes fall the quintessential American drama? Well, C.S. Lewis said that all humans, all people, all of the natural world, in fact, must obey. As in, we can fight it, but it just happens. Kind of like those girls who try to please the wrong kind of dude by trying to be a dude, trying to act all ghetto-y and dude-like. One girl today said, "Here you go, man." And I'm like, thanks, woman. Because it's like, hey, you're not a dude, so stop using the D word. If you catch my drift. Anyway, Stacey Orico sang, "We go up, I go down, I am emptier inside." Sometimes when you've been to a good movie, say like 50 years ago, because that's the last time a good movie came out, if there is such a thing. Let's call it a good show at the theater, or you heard a good sermon at your church. You might be able to, you can't explain why, but it feels like you've been on a roller coaster ride. Well, we talk about character arcs in drama, and when you can tie together all the makings of a good character arc and all the makings of a good symphonic libretto, or just a good symphony, period, that's really what you have. So you see, a well-structured drama is really more scientific than meets the eye. You go to see it and you feel in the same way that when you first begin to understand the makings of anything, you're amazed by it. But then you study it, you long suffer to understand it better, and you come to realize that there's a structure, just like there is a structure to the way your electronic appliances function. When radio first came out, another study in waves and arcs, radio was sold as, oh, it's like Peter Pan, it's like magic, it's voices and pictures that fly through the air. And of course, today we're less besottled by it, and so we understand its finer points more. Anyway, drama works the same way, but to understand how to create a more perfect wave, if you will, how to create a more perfect medium, because remember, the medium is the message. And creating a drama, creating a fine drama, which is especially one which is carried by an electronic medium, means a more perfect fusing of the so-called content and the container which it is being carried upon, a more perfect fusing of the modification of the wave and the wave itself, because all things equal, ceteris paribus, at the end of the day, when you communicate any kind of message, there really is no distinction between the medium and the message in terms of the effect it has on the audience. Even the shaping of the wave, say the amplitude modification or the frequency modification, the very things which give it its superficial meaning or its superfluous meaning to us, the conscious interpretation, only merely modify in a kind of modicum of ways the overall effect that it actually has upon us. So when you go to see a drama at the theater, you are you're witnessing people who are stepping out beyond the realms of their comfort zone, beyond what is merely on the script, and essentially doing a tap dance of sorts, a high wire act for you. Namely, can they sustain this marvelous imitation of a theoretical character, which they have bought into, which they have fully vested themselves into, convincing you that they are for the purpose of creating an intended effect in you, be it joy or sorrow, comedy or tragedy, really, is what it comes down to. Everything. It's a musical, yeah, it's a horror, it's action, yes, but it's, at the end of the day, it's fundamentally the hero wins or the hero loses. And in any case, the dramatist wins if he has been successful at his job, and and you're bored to death, he loses, be it a comedy or a tragedy. So anyway, in an effort to pursue the more perfect drama, which is Fall, the quintessential drama, really what matters at the end of the day isn't what critics say, although they will, because they will go on bird dogging and nitpicking forever. But really what matters is, first of all, is efficacy. In other words, have you not bored the audience to death? And that's very important. But it's not the whole story. For instance, the stories that Adolf Hitler told did not bore his audience to death, but they didn't have a good effect either. And the way Hollywood functions, really, is much like a concentration camp in that regard, because concentration camp that would be run by Jews. Anyway, that's a little bit of a big leap of an analogy. This is all a big metaphor, by the way, so nobody be hating, but the stay with me now, stay with me. As I try to stay with myself. The whole kind of idea here is that Hollywood, they're big into efficacy. They're big into titillating you, having an effect on you, but they don't really consider the end result. For instance, the net result of 13 Reasons Why is that teens, especially teenage girls, started killing themselves. Again, all the emphasis in the project is in Hollywood, most scripts, is to have an effect which keeps the audience coming back and paying more money. The only people that are really dumb enough to do this, of course, are the people you can reach by making them feel bad about themselves and having a bad effect on their lives, which is why the medium, which is the message, is usually a bad some message. And the medium is misused because, well, it's made to exploit you. The whole purpose of Fall is to craft a more perfect dramatic experience, an experience which, first and last, knows its audience well and is intended to fuse the music and the script so that there is no separation. There's not any notion in the script of, well, you put this kind of song in here and here's where they all do the jitterbug. No. It's a complete through. I don't want to say it's through song. It's entirely song. It's mostly song. But the purpose of Fall is to really describe the sum of the human experience in a window of time, as I suppose all dramas, all ideas, if they're honest and if they're beneficial to the audience, really do. Meaning, it's the story of the fall. We come here, we try as hard as we can to do right, whatever that right may happen to be, by God, by conscience, and ultimately we fall. So what does this all mean? Well, I mean, like a good story, like a concise, well thought, well observed, and executed story you have the different characters, and each of the characters, just like in a good symphony, and there are good symphonies and there are bad symphonies, and a good one that edifies the human condition is how I define symphony. Not only has the effect, but it has a good effect. It doesn't make you want to kill yourself afterward, like everything that comes out of Hollywood and Broadway these days. So it has a good effect, and it mirrors the human condition, and basically every instrument in a symphony, not even just every instrument, every grouping of instruments signifies a grouping of people. It's not that it even signifies it; it's just that they're fused into one. You have the horn section, might be I don't know, might be all the alpha males or something like that, and maybe perhaps the violins and the piccolos are the lovely women, or and maybe the cornet is a plain woman, and so on and so forth. C.S. Lewis said, at the end of the day, a good symphony, a good drama touches the audience. It edifies the audience because it communicates on a fundamental level that you are not alone, because there's someone else out there who understands your deepest thinking, desires, hopes, your soul, and that soul is an almighty creator named Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm just my attention is a little bit divided. I do apologize. And so it's this law of oscillation. Stacy Orico, we go up, we go down, and we're emptier inside. C.S. Lewis, every human follows the law of oscillation. And in life, all the notes, say on a piano or in a score, are good because they're created by God, and yet you play the wrong note at the wrong time. You have sex with the wrong person whom you're not married to, etc. Or you put someone to death who's not guilty. That's where you get into trouble. Why? Because there's a rift, a disruption in the grand symphony. And once you can tie all these together, the fundamental moral natural law with the cohesion and the beauty of a well-orchestrated symphony, and you tie that together. You tie that symphony with each of its characters, which are the instruments and the various groupings of instruments. The percussion section, which perhaps represent or tie together a certain type of person in a group. Then, once you have that fundamental understanding, as I have long suffered and long studied the matter, then you're positioned to create that more perfect roller coaster ride of sorts, which is the character arc of a grand musicale, a grand drama, which edifies. Which not only has an effect, which not only has a very powerful effect on the audience, but which also which edifies the human condition by helping the audience to better understand themselves, and in doing so to separate the fact of life, the real, the truthful, the good, the edifying, the pure, and the holy from the evil, from the subhuman, which would derail us from the great roller coaster of life, per C.S. Lewis's natural law of oscillation, as he mentioned, either in Mere Christianity or Christian Reflections. This is americasmansman.com, americasmansman.com, and fallmusical.com. Find out more and get involved today. You don't want to miss out on fall. It is the quintessential symphonic musicale. I can't even put a word to it, because it, like any good piece of art, it aspires to redefine the very medium upon which it is carried. In other words, it's a medium of its own.